Here are my thoughts, okay? Like whatever you want to call it, float therapy, float pods, sensory deprivation, like whatever it is, it works. And here's why. And I genuinely couldn't tell you guys if I was asleep or if I was awake and daydreaming or if I was just thinking about things. Like I literally don't know where you draw the line, and I cannot wait to get back in there again. What is up, guys? John here, aka Bruce Lee. Today we're testing out a float pod experience. Now, I have zero experience meditating or do anything related to float pods, so it's gonna be something different for sure. But here's a lot of benefits for athletes. So today we're gonna take a look, see if it helps for, or let's see how I feel about it helps for a martial artist. I'm a Muay Thai fighter, kickboxing teacher here in Canada. So let's just see what it looks like. So I'm here at Less Stress. So they have a shower here before you get in. This is what the actual float pod looks like. It's a little sensory deprivation tank. I'm gonna pop the hood, so to speak. It's nice and steamy in there. You control the lights. There's some music and I guess someone talking. Again, not too sure what to expect here, but we're gonna float around in this, see how we feel afterwards. What is up, guys? So I just stepped out of the tank here. What an interesting experience. So here's my initial impressions. When I got in, the pod comes down and like it's pretty easy to use. Like I remember reading in some places that people get like claustrophobic in there, but for me it felt like a really wide open space. So like kind of popping in there, it felt like the inside of like a gigantic tent. The music was already going. I stepped in and I'm kind of just like not too sure what to do, so I just kind of like lay back and then you just start floating. And you know, once you close your eyes, like for me it was a little disorienting. So yeah, and again, initial impression was that like it was weird because gravity wasn't really working or something like that. It's like you're in space or something, because it felt like I knew I was lying down in a tub of water, but like when my eyes were closed, it kind of seemed like I was just standing up. So it's like, directionally speaking, like I couldn't really tell how much stuff was in front of me, behind me, the sides of me, below me. So it's crazy. But like also I'm lying down, and then like when you're in there, like if you look in there, it's like a foot of water and obviously like the salt to keep you floating. But like when you're in there, it feels like the tub or like the pool of water beneath you is like endless. So like there's a couple of times I'm just kind of like moving my arms or kind of like adjusting myself, and it feels like there's nothing behind me forever. But I know it's like a foot of water. So it's like there's a little bit of orientation there. The music's going, and then eventually I'm not sure, like I've never really meditated before, so again, this is coming from someone who has zero experience with meditation, float therapy, float pods, whatever. So I wasn't sure if I was like meditating, but I was kind of just like, things were on my mind. I was like worrying about like what to do here, what to do there, and eventually I was like, you know what, like let's just not think about that right now. And you kind of start to like disconnect and dissociate with all that stuff. And I wasn't really worrying about anything. So I can definitely see on a psychological level there was definitely some stress relief. I don't know if it's like that for everyone. It's just how I felt being inside of there. And yeah, it's a crazy experience. And like sometimes it feels like you're moving inside the pod, but like you can open your eyes. Like I had earplugs in just to make sure that like salt didn't get in my ears, and it kind of like dampens out some of the extra noise if there was any outside of the music. But it feels like the whole time you're like drifting. Like if you close your eyes, you think about you're going that way in the pod or this way. The sensation for me was like it feels like you're drifting whatever direction you're imagining you are. And then I open my eyes for a second, and I haven't moved at all. So like definitely the stimulus was very, very weird for me to get used to. And like again, like I kind of moved my hands from like here to like here to like here to whatever, and it kind of feels like there's nothing around me. Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying the video so far. If so, please leave a like because it means a lot to me and supports the channel big time. And please consider subscribing so I can hang out with you again. For now, let's get back to the video. And it kind of feels like there's nothing around me. So yeah, it just kind of feels like you're floating in space a little bit. So I can definitely see the mental aspect there. I couldn't explain exactly what's happening, but I definitely see the benefits from it already. Now, before this, before coming in today, I had been running about 6K a day, doing some upper body stuff, about a pull-up bar and about kettlebell. So I'm doing all sorts of workouts. My left knee was a little sore. My calves definitely took some mileage running outside in the ice here in Canada. And one of my shoulders, wasn't bad. I didn't really think it was in pain, but definitely wasn't 100%. And now kind of everything feels really mellow. So I don't know if you kind of just get numb or something. Oh, this is the cleaning cycle. I should probably close this. So yeah, it's sanitized, guys. So yeah, I'm not as sure if it's just like the salt or like, I don't know, like I'm just feeling good after having a shower and stuff, but it definitely doesn't feel like those aches and pains. I don't immediately feel them right this second, so I don't know if that's anything to do with the pod necessarily, but I would imagine like maybe a little bit. I'm not too sure so far. And the one thing I noticed towards the end, so today I did a 30-minute float. My contact here recommended for sometimes if you're new, maybe do like a 15 or a 30-minute float instead to kind of get used to it in terms of the full hour. I only did 30 minutes, and I gotta say, time passed weird for me there because I didn't have like strict music. It was only like a beat and a harmony for me. So yeah, but like I'm guessing like 20 minutes in, maybe 15, could be 25. I have no clue, to be honest with you. About that time frame in, I kind of start to zone out, and I genuinely couldn't tell you guys if I was asleep or if I was awake and daydreaming, or if I was just thinking about things. Like I literally don't know where you draw the line, because I was kind of just like, it kind of felt like I was high. Like I didn't do any drugs or anything before this. It's just kind of like you kind of just really mellowed out. And then when the intercom went on to be like, hey, you can get up and clean yourself off anytime and take your time, whatever. I was like, I kind of didn't want to get up. I was kind of like entranced for a while there. So I can definitely see the benefits of doing this for the full hour. I think I definitely 110%, guys. I'm a believer, so I'm definitely gonna be back again to do a longer float. But those are just my thoughts there so far. That was my initial impression. I literally just got out of the shower here to do to film this portion of the video, and I'm gonna film one more segment, which is gonna be tomorrow, to see how my muscles, or just how I feel 24 hours after the float. And that's it. I'll give you guys a quick tour before I move on to the next segment here. So that was the float pod, obviously. I think I opened it up earlier, but you kind of see, like in the case that I was, it's a pretty big pod. There's music and light controls and the intercom over there, so you can keep in contact with whoever's kind of running your jam. I'm here at Less Stress Royal Oak. Awesome place, guys. Highly recommend. Their massage therapist is what I come here for. But really, all their services are strong, and they have a float pod here in house. Shower and stuff over there, so you can rinse off before and after, and like everything you need is here, provided the towels and like the ear pods, like not AirPods, but the earplugs. So I haven't been to any other float place, but so far my experience has been really good. So I highly recommend you guys checking out Less Stress over here, and I'll drop their contact below in the video in the description in case you want to check them out for yourselves and you happen to live here in Calgary, Alberta. And all right, let's go on to the next segment. That is it, guys. It's been 24 hours since my first ever float session over at Less Stress. And here are my thoughts. Okay, like whatever you want to call it, float therapy, float pods, sensory deprivation, like whatever it is, it works. And here's why. Now, when I was in there, like I didn't know what to expect, right? What were, I kind of like high level, like rudimentary knowledge of what it's all about. Like, like there's no stimulus, and like, your eyes are closed. I can't really hear anything other than like the music you have in there. I know like it's like an Epsom salt is kind of what lifts you up, or kind of has you like buoyant within the pod. So like Epsom salt baths, right? Like the magnesium there helps your muscles as well, and I definitely felt some benefit there. But overall, the real benefits were definitely up here. And what I mean by that is, it took me some time to get kind of into it. Not like physically into the pod, like that's easy, and like it's not claustrophobic in there, or wasn't for me personally. Easy to use the controls, and like it's kind of easy to figure out, like, hey, you just float. And once you get past that initial disorientation of my first time, I can totally see the relaxation and the meditative state that you can achieve. And I know I think it also prompts recovery even after you're outside of the pod. And the reason is because, like, guys, I rarely dream. Like, I train and run all the time. I always go to bed tired, and I go to bed at a pretty reasonable time for my day job. And you know what? Like, I just never dream. I never remember my dream. They're never vivid. I'm never lucid in them. Nothing. But last night, okay, for the first time in, I want to say, like 7 months, I had a full-on dream. I remember every single second of it. So I woke up drooling, so I must have been resting easy. So that's super, super rare for me, you guys. So it might, you know, just to play devil's advocate, like, it might have had nothing to do with the float pod or the float therapy. I'm just saying that, like, it seems to be a coincidence that the first time I could remember my dream in almost a year was the night of my float. What I also found stepping out of the float pod was, like, I did have some muscle soreness in my knees and my legs. You know, where I'm at right now in Canada, like, there's a lot of lockdowns in the gym, so there's not a whole lot of training you can do other than, like, kettlebell stuff and some free weights. Like, I have a pull-up bar, or I go out to the park and try to get creative with my workouts. But mainly it's a lot of running, so my legs were taking a lot of mileage, and they felt a lot better instantly when I got out of the pod. And even to now, which is 24 hours later. It must have been the Epsom salt or something like that, because I didn't, like, stretch anything. I didn't do anything different, and actually even worked out after the pod session. I felt so good, so refreshed, and I just wanted to move. So I went out for another run, and got creative with some body weight workouts, and some shadow boxing. And yeah, like, it's just, you know, I should be more sore if anything, and I feel absolutely fine, recovered. So I really, again, I don't know the science behind it, you guys. Like, you know, my background is, you know, as a fighter, as an athlete. I used to do powerlifting. Like, I never really, like, I don't do yoga. I have no background in meditation. You know, I'm not a super zen guy. I'm kind of more of a high energy, overthinker, if that makes sense. Like, a very critical kind of person. And that was the most mellow I'd ever been, probably ever in my life, to be honest with you. So again, I don't know the exact science of what's going on in the float pod. Maybe someone comment below if you want to pitch in here and help me out. But I definitely noticed the benefits. Again, I don't know how you get the benefits, but I do notice benefits. So rest assured, I will definitely be back and check that out and add that to my recovery kind of program, along with, like, massage therapy, stretching, and now float therapy. I hope you enjoyed that today, guys. And if you have any questions about my experience, drop them in the comments. And, you know, if I have I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm not gonna pretend to be an expert, but if you want to know how it was for me in my first time, I'm happy to answer those questions. And if you want to give it a shot yourself, like, I found this a little bit cheaper than, like, a massage session, so definitely worth checking out, you guys. And go in with, like, you know, my recommendation, go in with an open mind. Don't have major expectations, good or bad. Just see what happens, and really focus on thinking about nothing, was advice I got right before I went in. That's maybe the one bias I had, is, like, try to, you know, I was kind of started to think about, like, what should I do after this flow? Should I work out? You know, work is happening, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, you know, I gotta zen out and just think of nothing. If you go in there with an open mind and just, like, you know, think of nothing, I think the benefits, the rejuvenation is crazy. Because to this day, the full 24 hours have passed, I still wish I was in there for longer, and I cannot wait to get back in there again. Alright, guys, it's been your boy Bruce Lee. If you saw some value in the video, or you like the commentary, please leave a like on the video, because it means a lot to me. And if you subscribe, it means I might see you again. We're doing reaction videos, we're doing workout videos, self-defense, reviews, you name it. Like, whatever's on your guys' mind, comment below what kind of video you want to see next, or what movie we should react to together. And I will see you next time.